JB. We are now at over $210 raised so far.
Now, the one thing I do agree with you, John, is the term limits. I agree with that. Term limits when it comes to Steve's income. I agree.
And JB, if there's any videos you want me to delete on YouTube that may have your name, I'm more than willing to delete them. 100% delete immediately.
Delete what? I'm sorry.
Any YouTube videos from Clown House.
No, I'm doing it. Thank you. I mean, hold on. How much do I have to get my two videos to it?
I mean, you can give $1. I delete them at this point.
I mean, at this point, I feel like there's got to be at least 10,000 of them. If I were to give like a penny for each of them, that would be equitable to me.
I'm really though taking this serious. Like, you are in local election. I think that's very important. Local is more important than federal in my eyes. So what are you going to do?
This is a federal election. I'm running for Congress in the 16th congressional district.
Even worse. So what are you going to do for the 16th district? What are you going to do?
Well, you have to ask yourself, you know, if you were the leader of your people, what would you want to do for your people? One is lower the property taxes. I know, but I'm telling you, any good, pragmatic, common sense person who wants to help his people would lower their property taxes and lower their income tax burden. Also, maybe eliminate private and public debt on their behalf. Those would be three great things that a good leader could do for their people. Okay, I'm going to tell you again what I'm going to do for the people of the 16th District of Illinois. I'm going to work my ass off to get your property taxes down as low as possible, your income taxes down as low as humanly possible, and eliminate any of your private or public debt that you are associated with. Those are the three things I'm going to work for the people of my district. Because you know what? Money matters. Money is time. And we're $37 trillion in debt, kicking a can down the road. Do you want to crush this can and kick it? Or do you want to just keep kicking it down, you know, with a fresh can? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going to tell the people.
You're giving Kamala
Let me grok that for you, young man. And I'll find the biggest Fortune 500 corporations in the 16th district. I know they're there. I know some of the major corporations. Well, I would assume it's property taxes and income taxes.
No, the correct answer is the number one issue for Caterpillar, which they're bitching and complaining about, is they're saying the least to lost jobs in your specific district is fucking tariffs. They're getting hammered with the tariffs, right? So that should be, if you're trying to get people to vote for you in your district, you should know what their issues actually are. Because people are at risk of losing their jobs in their district over the situation that's fucking going on, right?
Thanks,
so,
Maya.
Property taxes and the deficit is a nice talking point, but focus on your actual district.
And Mother, listen, this is a decentralized campaign. I'm willing to listen to anybody. And my favorite, because I've done a lot of campaigning, you know, in the streets, at the subways, gathering signatures, and a lot of people want to talk to you. And my favorite thing to ask them is, if you were in charge, what are the three things you would want to accomplish for your people? So, Mother, if you were running in the 16th district, what would you want to do for the people of the 16th district of Illinois?
Okay, so I actually grew up in this district, so this is a district I know very well, right? So the number one thing is that you have to get additional law enforcement to get Congress back under control, because when they took down the gangs in fucking Chicago, a significant portion of them migrated up to Rockford, so they needed a lot more resources to help get that back under control. The second thing is getting additional manufacturing jobs, which have been crippled in this area, specifically back into that area of tax incentives, et cetera, right? Then you got to go down to the southern part of your fucking district, which is Peoria, Illinois, and Normal, et cetera, right? And those areas are predominantly manufacturing focused, agricultural based products. So you need to get them in a position where they are exporting a lot of corn, et cetera, whatever, to other countries are getting fucked too with what's going on with the different tariffs and back and forth with China, right? So like those are the main issues for the main people that are employed in your district, and I cannot believe you don't know that, John. You should fucking know this. How long have you been in this district?
Oh, I know it now, Mother. Also, I want to announce that there is a Clubhouse town hall happening right now. What a coincidence, because this is technically the Republican Illinois Town Hall Convention here, where we're raising funds for the campaign to elect John Kitover. Our campaign website is johnforcongress.com. If you want to follow the campaign on YouTube, it's John_Kitover_Congressman on YouTube and X.com. The profile handle is John Kitover, Illinois. Some of you may appear on some of my YouTube videos. Some of you may have a lot of fun watching my YouTube because you're there. You've been recorded onto Clownhouse onto YouTube.
I'm sorry, I came off a little strong. I apologize, John.
Oh, that's okay, Mother. I fully expect it. And I appreciate all the information because I'll never forget the caterpillar.
Yeah, they were considering at one point relocating them to Illinois due to, I mean, the tax issue is a problem, right? But it's not the number one problem, like the property tax, etc. For people, like, yes, property taxes in Illinois are an issue, but there's just, it's like, I don't understand.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm a homeowner, and the property taxes are insane. The water, the sewer, the garbage, it just never ends. And mom and pop landlords, they can't make it. It's impossible at this point. You can't turn a profit.
Hey, John, what brings you to the military?
I was in the Army National Guard.
Thank you for your service.
I was an infantry. I started off as an infantry PFC, then a specialist, then a sergeant. Then I got commissioned into the Army Intelligence, and I served from 2002 to 2006. So, I was all around the United States: Fort Benning, Georgia; Fort Huachuca, Arizona; Fort Lewis, Washington. Again, I was in the Army National Guard, which Donald Trump is currently deploying to all of our major sanctuary cities. Praise God.
Well, everybody should follow I think you get $5, man. Support the campaign, support Mojo's campaign, pseudo campaign match. $5 cheap bucks.
$1 even, because I want you on the list. I want your name in the FEC website showing that you gave $1. If I gave you $1 before, give me the $1 back. Fork it over. Fork it over.
Maybe I should run for Congress in this district.
Maybe you should.
I'm not going
I think there should be hundreds of people running for these congressional seats. Instead, there's just a handful. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. There should be hundreds of people fighting for these positions.
You have to decide which mayor I'm going to vote for. That's the only thing I'm worried about down here.
Okay, let me ask Cool C a question. Cool C, if you were running for Congress or you were a leader of your people, what would you do for your people?
I would actually find out what's important to them, find out what jobs or what data centers are important in my area, if they're building new data centers, and how they can enrich the AI for the local businesses around me in this moment, and what I can do to raise the wages of the low to middle class people, and get them very well into homes if they're not there. What things I can do for their health care, what I should be advocating for, because just saying you're going to cut things, you have to have things in place. If you're going to cut something, you need to have something else in place that will give them the opposite equal opportunity to get further in life. So if you're going to cut Medicare, what opportunity or what consortium are you going to use to give them better benefits for their job to give them better health care? So I think that's one of them.
John, if I donate more money, can I pick a person to kick out? Thank you.
It's possible.
Wow, you want to kick me out, huh? Sorry.
Hey, shut up, you boy. I wasn't even talking about you.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, you know how to get that right. It's public. You get that.
I'll help with that.
Can you guys support the campaign?
So here's the call. Roll call. Okay? We're almost 30 minutes into this, and we'd like to at the top of the hour talk about this, but right now I want you to prayerfully consider what your donation size is going to be. And I
enough for us to hire the right people to go knock doors to be able to get John on the ballot. Because if we can get John on the ballot, we can get John on the debate stage. If we can get John on the big debate stage, we can embarrass these career politicians, and we can send John Kitover to Congress to represent the American people.
It's a powerful
How long do you
endorsement.
John, how long do you have to get on the ballot? How much time you got?
We have to get about 25 signatures a day leading up to about mid-February.
Oh, you could definitely do that.
Because you need like what? You need 20,000.
I'm not sure on the exact number. I haven't actually researched the exact number that we need.
20,000.
I don't think it's 20,000. I think that might be a 10-to-1 ratio that you're quoting here. Kitty, welcome to the room. So a lot of these things, a lot of these questions, like I don't even I've searched for the ballots that I need to get filled out, and I actually have not been able to find them with some very simple Google searches. So the campaign does need help. We need to actually get the PDF, right now. So if you can find the PDF that we need to get signatures on, post it in the chat. Send the link right now.
Okay.
This is a coordinated approach to running this campaign.
And then, hey, John,
John,
my mom,
sorry.
I've got my whole family in Chicago.
Okay, sorry. I'm watching John on YouTube, and John, I'm watching how you're laughing behind the back of people who are asking you questions, including Roger, including JB. This is extremely disrespectful. I've posted in the chat the link to the live YouTube, so you can see how John is fooling with you, and how he's playing with you. This is so bad.
Thank you, Rick. Everybody, watch the YouTube live stream and look at me in my office.
So bad.
Go ahead, finish up,
So
Rick.
bad.
And if you want, post the link in the chat so everybody can see me live streaming this room. Thanks, Rick.
I already did.
Okay, fantastic.
Rick, you're doing your part.
If you're not subscribed to the
Yeah,
YouTube
we're
channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'll click on my profile. The YouTube link is also there, and I'll put it in the chat. And if you haven't donated $1, just $1 to this campaign, you really don't care about yourself, because this is your campaign. I'm not separating from Clown House if we get into Congress. You want to be on a podcast? You want to let the American people know what you're thinking or feeling about the news, about Ukraine, Russia, Israel, China, whatever it is. It's going to be an open book. I'm fully transparent. You can go to my YouTube and, watch me in my office 24/7 live streaming Clown House.
Just looked it up. Hold on one second. There is literally zero filing fee in Illinois to run for Congress. So the filing fee is not a factor. And the amount of signatures needed to run as a Republican is 536 signatures. So I think we can get those signatures pretty quickly.
Okay.
Illinois.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're Polish, so there's like, I got billions of siblings, cousins, aunts, my mom, my brother, all in that city. So I'll send that link to them.
Yeah, I ran for committeeman about 2 years ago, and I generated over 750 signatures just by doing door knocking and being at the train. And I hired multiple people off of Craigslist to help me get those signatures. And guess what? Most of those people who helped me get signatures were African Americans from Chicago who hate the political industrial complex that they know they're getting scammed by. So my number one campaign volunteers were African Americans. Isn't that interesting? And I'm not being facetious. I'm being 100%. I can post the selfies with all the campaign volunteers. But the point is, the Chicago GOP are a bunch of corrupt demagogues, and they challenged every single signature that I generated, and I fell short by, 20, 50 signatures, whatever it was. They got me kicked off the ballot. They sued me. I had to go to court twice. They spent $10,000 challenging me. They failed to produce any witnesses. I tried to request that the woman they installed would actually appear in the court, but she didn't. They just sent a lawyer. And, so the point is, this campaign, we have to verify that all the signatures are actually registered to vote. And it's it's not complicated, it's time consuming. It's laborious. So all the signatures we get, we're going to hopefully do like a signature and an address verify. So when they do go to challenge, say we get 1,000, we'll have enough to actually get on the primary and on the ballot. There are some other people that I'd like to invite to this room who can talk about the campaign work that has been leading up to this moment. But if you haven't shared this room yet, share it on X. Hit that little share icon, post it to your X account, post it to your Instagram messages, send this room to all your friends on Instagram. If you want to screen record the room and post it to your YouTube, or you want to send us $1, send us $1 right now. I don't know how long this room will go, but I can't thank Mojo enough for organizing it. I have thoroughly enjoyed Clubhouse because of Mojo and his super positive vibration. And, I know all of you quite well in this room and on the stage right now. So I thank you all for being here.
So, like Norm Green, did you get that many votes again?
Norm Green get those many votes again? What was that, Cool C? Sorry, did you want to repeat yourself, Cool C? I couldn't understand what you were saying.
I guess, are you trying to get Rogers' vote like he did for Norm Green? Or whoever else voted for him?
I did vote for Norm Green for president, but this is quite different. This is actual ballot access. Norm was not on the ballot. Norm was a write-in. This is going to be a major campaign. This is going to be a challenge to the system of power in this country. We're going to have somebody working in Washington on our behalf. And so I would just ask anybody that has a patriotic bone in their body that cares about national security related to the debt that we have. $37 trillion worth of debt. That's a lot of money, folks. It's a lot of money. And we have one person that's running for office that wants to turn that around. And that man's on the stage right now with you. He's spending his time campaigning for you guys. So all we can do to support him, just click that link above, reach into your pockets, and go ahead and give him some of your money to support it. And if you can't afford it today, that's fine. The campaign's ongoing. You can share on all of social media. That helps. Send a link to his campaign to all of your family and friends that are politically minded. If you know activists, people that care about government, go ahead and send this link to them so they can donate.
John, quick question on the verification of the signatures. Do you have a service, or how do you plan on doing that so that they don't pull that same type of move on you this time around?
It's a great question. I'm not exactly sure how you can efficiently do it, or how you even do the lookup with the state of Illinois.
That's a Marshall question. That's a Marshall question. We should defer to Marshall when he gets in.
I'm gonna be honest, I changed my profile pic and then I saw JB's and now I'm gonna rechange it. But I'll donate more when I can, John. I promise. And I'll send it out to like my whole family. Mojo, you should encourage everybody to have something like that as their PTR.
Well, people don't have to share that. And by the way, don't feel bad about the dollar amount. It could be $1. I'm encouraging people to only donate $3.50. Now, if you have quite a bit of extra cash laying around, you can donate $350. I think the Tree 50 plan is really the way to go here. So if you can spare $3.50, donate it to John Kitover for Congress, and you can do so by clicking the link above.
And I will add, it took me about a month to get this checking account open, but the banker in the end, she was very helpful. Robin at Parkway Bank, persistence and kindness is what got this checking account opened. It's been added to our Antidote account today. And sure enough, they had to have another signature confirmation from the bank. So the banker, Robin, very quickly sent us a letter with her signature on it. So Antidote could open up that account as soon as possible. Many fiscal conservatives like Thomas Massey are using Antidote to raise funds for their campaign. It's very quick and easy to use. And all you have to do is click the link above, send the campaign to elect John Kitover $1 or $10 or $200 or $500 if you want. Your money will be deployed in terms of organizing ballot signatures in Rockford, Peoria, Bloomington, Illinois, Peckins. You can go to johnforcongress.com to see more content, a letter that I wrote to the citizens of Illinois or in District 16 to rouse their Abraham Lincoln patriotism, because Illinois is the land of Lincoln. And if Abraham Lincoln was today, how do you think Abraham Lincoln would feel about 37 trillion in funded debt liabilities and 100 trillion in unfunded debt liabilities?
John, I'm posting in the chat some masterpieces of yours from your YouTube channel. I think it's delicious. I think it's beautiful. And continue posting. Okay, John.
Thanks, Rick. Are you the guy that said you're going to come and kill me and you're going to get me because I'm not with you in terms of supporting terrorists and your Free Palestine movement? That's you, right, Rick?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Rick. You're a valuable asset to this campaign. We need guys like you so we know who we need to target in terms of security.
So, John, I put a link in the chat, and that's 2025. The people that are running in every the glossary of it, and what you'll have to do, and the calendar.
John, Israel came up. Can you talk to us about your support for Israel?
Yeah, I've been to Israel. I took a birthright trip, even though my mother's not Jewish and she's gorgeous. I lied on my birthright application with Shorshim. I said she's Jewish so I could go on the free trip. Now, many of you will think that's unethical, but I just want to let you know it was a fantastic trip. I got to meet with Mr. Bronfman, met with Israeli generals. I met with Palestinian dissidents who don't like the terrorism and the fascism of Islamic Palestine. And it was an incredible experience. So if there's one country in the world that I would like to support militarily, it's 100% Israel. Now, I'm not taking any AIPAC money. Don't you worry. I'm not going to get influenced by AIPAC. But if AIPAC does want to contribute funds, they can go to johnforcongress.com. No, I'm just kidding. But we're not pursuing AIPAC. Maybe we will. But I stand strong with Israel, and I stand stronger against terrorist Palestinian Islamic fascist cocksuckers who can't seem to keep their hands in their pockets and seem to love launching rockets every single week. October. I don't know if you've ever gone to the October 7th Wikipedia page, but actually reviewed the military campaign by the Palestinian jihadist brigades and what the Israeli brigades were and the key actors. It's really fascinating to read that October 7th Wikipedia page, even though I'm sure it's not that accurate, but it's still fascinating.
John, could you open the link that I've posted, and can you explain to everybody what you meant in those videos when you were wearing the devil's horns and this YouTube shorts? Can you explain that?
Sure. There's these filters on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat where they allow you to become a devil. And I'm just kind of surprised, that they allow this type of Satanism on these social media platforms to people put these filters over. And, I didn't create it. It wasn't me. My name's John Kitover. I'm running for Congress. And I got to say, a lot of the culture and the content, that these platforms allow people to put out, it's sadistic. And so I was just merely using their artistic, frames and lenses to see what I could create.
So would that make you the clown?
Correct. I'm a comedian.
Like you call us on here?
Correct. It's Clown House. A lot of clowns on here. You know it. I know it. A lot of clowns here. Love to crack jokes, troll, waste your time, talk about nothing, have heated conversations, road rage all day long. Those types of clowns cool. See, I know those types of clowns here. Do you?
So are you one of them?
I try not to be.
Yes,
I try not to be.
So
Today we read a book. Most of the clowns on here have never read a book on this app. They mostly just scream and get very angry about everything. And whatever topic that comes up, they're a subject matter expert on it. Doesn't matter. People want to talk. People want to get that dopamine feedback loop going through social audio. That's the way the brain works. I don't know how to explain it any better than that.
John, I agree with you. So will you split the money with Roger tonight? Is that the mechanism?
No, this money is going to go all towards the campaign to people that want to work as a contractor on the campaign, because we probably won't raise enough to hire a full-time employee. That would be very difficult to do. But I am 100% sure, based off of my former campaigning, that there are patriots living in the 16th district of Illinois, that it makes them sick to their stomach to know that this congressman, Darren LaHood, has spent $20 trillion in debt in 10 years. We're creating $2 trillion a year in debt. This guy's been there for 10 years. He's created $20 trillion in debt. Who likes that? I don't like that. You like that?
So is in response to that,
It's his HRX. I'm on Grok. I asked Grok to correlate the HRX that he has voted on and the Open Secrets Fortune 500 donors, and you will see that there's a 100% correlation between every vote he made and every dollar he collected by Fortune 500 donors. And Open Secrets proves it. It's right there. He's raised $10 million from big pharma, big health insurance, big telecom, big insurance companies back this guy because of Medicare, Medicaid. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna. Why do you think they give these people money? Because they keep passing multi-trillion-dollar omnibus bills that keep their profits flowing. It's a must. But I believe that most of the fraud in the system is being done by the providers that are actually taking the revenue from the government through Medicare, Medicaid solutions. So it's not the American people that are committing fraud. It's these major health insurance corporations like United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and a dozen other cardinal health systems. They all make billions of dollars off of your taxpayers and by the federal government borrowing and spending to keep paying them. Is that fair to you? No, it's not fair to you, the consumer who needs healthcare.
Do you line yourself back like Washington?
No, I voted Trump twice, but I think that, economic sciences, common sense, pragmatism, rationalism, like you can't just keep borrowing and spending. But I support President Trump. I like Stephen Miller. I like conservatives in general who are willing to stand up against the woke mind virus, which is still persistent and everywhere. So, to say MAGA, it doesn't mean anything to me because when you file to run, it's Republican. And a lot of people like to say MAGA or Zionist. These are just abstract terms, for patriotism. So if you're not, I don't mean nationalist as in a fascist, but you should have your country, in your heart in terms of like supporting the president, rooting for the team. I mean, this is your country, and a lot of people aren't rooting for their own team.
John, do you know it's illegal to report people who are there talking on Clubhouse with other phones like you guys can see? It's not illegal. In Europe it is. You're allowed to report. You choose to be in here. You're choosing. So the fact that the Clubhouse allows it, and they also allow recording themselves, repeat. So that's cool, Steve. Cool, Steve. Shut your mouth. Listen, I'll tell you what. We didn't come here to talk about whether or not we can or cannot record people on the Clubhouse app. We came here to talk about the fact that John Kitover is going to represent the American people in Congress. Now, that's what we should be talking about. We should be asking real questions, not asking questions about why he streams videos on YouTube. We should ask questions about, John, what are you going to do about those that want to trans the kids?
Well, I'm going to cut the funding off. It's $100,000 to transition a young boy, cut his genitalia off, and give him the puberty blockers. And that young child has a mental health disorder, suffers from depression, is getting lied to by Democrat LGBTQ activists that need to essentially do vote harvesting and gather in more victims for their own misery in life. So I think cutting their funding and distributing communication about education with regards to the depression and gender dysphoria, that's the type of action I'm interested in.
That's right. Cut funding, not genitalia.
I have a question. Hello, Kitty. I have a question for you, John. Why did you choose to go along the Republican line? Have you thought about the Republican also running as an independent? So you guarantee you get on the debate stage?
Yeah, when I ran for committeeman, I realized, when you go and you vote in the ballot booth, there's a rep Dem and Lib. And for Lib, that stands for libertarian. So it does seem like you can get on the ballot by being a part of this third party. But my disgust and disdain and anger with the Chicago GOP and Illinois GOP, because they're just a bunch of disorganized, feminine demagogues. I feel like dealing with the problem, in your own house, because I have always voted Republican, is the place to start. And Darren LaHood in the 16th, who has been there for 10 years and created 20 trillion in debt, I think this is his time to leave. And he has announced that he's running again, and he's not seeking the governorship or senator seat. So he's got a lot of seniority now in Congress because he's been there 10 years. So he's gonna keep voting for more omnibuses, and he's just gonna keep expanding the debt by $2 trillion a year.
What's up, Steve? What's up, Al? The water boat?
Hi. I have a question for John. I think it's relevant because most politicians are either asked it if they don't offer it. Hi, John. John, are you there?
I'm here, Uncle Steve. Go ahead. What's your question?
Tell us about your family life. Tell us about what your mom, dad did for a living. Brothers, sisters. Also, are you married? Do you have children? Thank you.
Yeah, my dad was a Chicago police officer for 30 years, and my mom was a postal carrier for 30 years, and they're both retired, living on a pension, healthy, happy. And my sister has worked in sales, marketing, and consulting across different industries. Everybody is doing well. My sister recently got married. I'm single. I'm ready to mingle. I use Hinge and Bumble to try to find dates every Friday, Saturday night if I can, because I'm looking for a beautiful shidducha. That's a wife. And I have no children. But, this is my life. Everything is good. And it seems like, running for Congress was destiny.
Well, are there many people or any people in Congress that are not married?
You're asking me a double negative here, Steve?
Do you know how many people in Congress are married? And if so, how many?
I would say probably 80-90% of people in Congress are married and have children.
Thank you.
Follow-up question to Uncle Steve, whom I really care about and respect. Uncle Steve, what the crap was that line of questioning? One, I'm really proud of John now, more so than ever, and bless his mother's heart for having a husband that was a Illinois cop. But why would you ask those things?
Maybe you didn't hear the very start of the question where I said that I believe it's relevant because most members of Congress either voluntarily put it out or ask it. And so I don't think it's bullshit or crap questions at all. If you take a look at anybody that's running for Congress on their brochures, they will talk about what their education is. They might not talk about their mom and their dad, but they absolutely talk about if they have spouses and children. I don't think it's a crap question at all. And I'm sure if it was a crap question, he would not have answered it.
Right, and that really wasn't my major question. And I'm glad you asked that one, and like I said, and I'm glad he answered it. It was the follow-up question as to what difference does it make of why does it have to stay the same or stagnant? Most politicians that I've ever encountered or have seen make their way to claim to fame have claimed to be some form of Christian, that they're a part of the Catholic Church or something like that. And lo and behold, up until and maybe even the current president. But when things unfold, you find out that they claimed it because it's very popular to say, but it's not really what they. I mean, I can stick up for John to say that like he talks about what he believes.
Kitty, it's okay.
Maybe I missed it. What was my follow-up question? Because I didn't ask him anything about religion.
No, you didn't. But that would have been making more sense, like family and children. However, your follow-up question was to John, how many statistically do you know of that are?
Oh yeah, that's right. I asked that. How many in Congress? And then he said I gave him a double negative, so I rephrased the question. I have a question for John.
Go ahead, Jay.
John, I have a question that and I'm being sincere because I'm about to donate again, but there's a question I think that your constituents, which I'm not part of, are going to want to know. What do you do for work, John?
Right now, I'm running for Congress in the 16th District of Illinois. Prior to this, I worked for the Treasury Department for the past 5 years, working in facilities management. Prior to that, I've worked in digital marketing communications, which is basically media buying for Google, for Microsoft, for Cox Communications, some of the world's largest digital communications and advertising networks in the world. Prior to that, I was in the Army, so that's my work and history, work and job career history.
Thank you, Congressman.
Ellen Orvo, are you there?
Hello there. Yes, I'm here. I'm having some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
Awesome. I have a question for you. So, as you recall, I was a very huge supporter of you during the presidential election. My question is, what do you say? Will you give an endorsement at this time to John Kitover for Congress?
Full throated. Don't take that the wrong way. Full throated endorsement. I have gotten to know John over the years, and as is true of many of my best relationships, it started off with a little bit of fireworks, and then settled into a real meeting of the minds, both intellectually and politically and spiritually. So yes, thumbs up for John, and he has my endorsement. Now, I don't feel it will ask me to help any way I can. Awesome. Scott Jones, are you ready to endorse John Kitover? Sure. I told Laura, who I told the great one, said if I told Laura, the great one, of course, every time I introduce him to the state, is that he is the great one of the outfit. Tell Laura, I did a fool. So I wouldn't even have thrown an endorsement. I would have talked to John about even doing some work for the campaign. I'm a John fan. He's a clubhouse hero. He's a public servant. So, with his publishing of clubhouse material, he's one of my favorite people on the app. Right back up. Got Normo with the full corner endorsed. Hey, Normo, when you get the pizza from? I'll tell you guys in a little bit, but you can have a real pizza competition where there's only 72 places pizzas. I'm not talking to you on the all right.
And Mojo, you didn't ask, but I deeply care about the city of Chicago. Most of your family now all live there, and it's not full throat, but I deeply throat. I deep throat. Okay, forget it. And I support you, John. Way to go, John.
John, that was a deep-throated endorsement from Kitty.
So, John, I'm sorry if you've answered this question already. You don't come to the Chicago area. I'm just curious. I've been sharing space with you for a couple weeks now in this little house, and I think you're such a character, so funny. And sometimes I'm going back and forth about, are you serious about your political ambition? And it turns out you actually are. So my question, again, forgive me if you answer this. I mean, what personal experiences, if any, or specific issues inspired you to run for Congress? And how do you plan to translate that motivation into action for, the people of Illinois?
Well, I ran for committee person in the Chicago GOP in my district in what we call our ward here in Chicago, the 45th ward. So, going back to 9/11, this country was not indebted the way it is now. I mean, let's say we had $2 trillion back then in debt or whatever the number is. It has ballooned to an uncontainable level. And Chairman Powell, he says it's on an unsustainable path, but he doesn't give Congress fiscal advice and he doesn't ask for monetary advice. So if you just believe in common sense, and I don't go out to $400 a night dinners, I don't go out and buy new cars and load up my credit cards with debt. If you live your life as a fiscally conservative person, that's all the political experience anybody needs. Everyone here has to live within their financial constraints. Otherwise, you destroy yourself and you cause all kinds of problems for yourself and others. So it's that type of attitude that I have, and I'm sure you have as well.
Right on, sir.
I want to hear John's views on Israel. I want to hear what John will do for Israel and its well-being and its defense. How will you vote when he is in Congress? When issues concerning Israel.
Well, if you look at what the State Department ships over to Ukraine in terms of $50 billion worth of U.S. war supplies, I'm not really on that. I'm not on that bus. I really think that a lot of these countries, especially Israel, has that ability to arm itself, to fund itself. Again, I believe that 37 trillion is too much. So to continue to spend 50 trillion here, 20 trillion there, is ludicrous at this point. I think Israel is a very strong country, but if there is one country that I want to support in this whole world, it's not Ukraine. It's generally Israel. So, I just think America has to be fiscally prudent with its money. Anything that they send over has to be efficient, and it has to be, cost optimized. It's not a trough where people can come and just fill up and leave. It's got to be a very systematic approach to how we are doing acquisition or lending or loaning or giving Israel anything. But if there's one country in this world that needs help because it's surrounded on all fronts by enemies or potential enemies, it's Israel, in my opinion.
John, we got a few minutes till the top hour. Are you able to take a look and see where the donation levels are at?
I just donated another 20.
Let's take a look. Wow, Kristen Watson sent $5. Nix Arcaden sent $5. Sean Hickman sent $100. Jason Braska sent $100. Holy cow. Jason Braska sent another $20. Unbelievable. So we are at $335 in just 2 hours. That's incredible. And I myself will have to match whatever we raise today. So any dollar you send in today, I will personally match up to $1,000 of my own money. That's at the same bank where the campaign account is at. My personal account's got $1,000 in it. I'm willing to dollar for dollar match any amount up to $1,000 that you contribute to the campaign today.
Necro, can we count on your donation?
Sorry. So John, I don't know what you'll be advocating for.
I'm advocating for lowering your future taxes or your taxes now. I'm advocating for spending only $5 trillion a year instead of $7 trillion a year. I'm advocating for health, wealth, love, and peace of mind in your life, my friend.
Gotcha. So what I take for your views on the Epstein files and the Trump show that they started.
I think a lot of people in the Epstein files should be worried about those files being released, but I don't think it's Donald Trump that's the primary. I think Bill Clinton, Bill Gates are two of the most wealthy, powerful people who are most likely concerned about those files being released. But I think anybody photographed with Jeffrey Epstein is a potentially compromised, and there's so many photos of Trump with Epstein that he's potentially compromised, but no actual evidence. Now, if they're redacting his name out of files, I think a lot of this is to protect American prestige and reputation. But Jeffrey Epstein was definitely was up to no good, and same with Ghislaine. That's why she's in jail. So, this is, in my opinion, espionage, and it's a very serious offense. And America's reputation is on the line here for being okey-doked by Jeff, if that's what he was doing, which is most likely what he was doing. But nonetheless, welcome to the world of real politics, where honey traps may be employed by intelligence agencies to blackmail and control people. So we keep spending $2 trillion more than we collect a year in tax revenue.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really wanted to know, understand, our reputation having years coming up into office is kind of a problem. And it's why I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. It's because both parties are protecting people who do not represent the average American, people who can commit a crime. And, never a person, and that was the one thing I knew about Trump, is that he was never going to be a president, in spite of all the indictments against him. But I take it with that. I believe that the American people, it's why the American people deserve to know of the victims of Epstein. I think that, we have every right to that, just like we have rights to all the crimes that the FBI found on. And so, to me, it's very important that Trump, if he's not a criminal, to be able to clear his name. And so, if I have a person who is against him doing that, it's kind of moving me to donate to something like that.
Well, I would just say that, using your imagination with regards to potential Trump crimes, I think it's not going to really get you anywhere, because you just have, can you give me any information whatsoever about Trump's alleged crimes that are 100% certain?
Well, I know, on the place where he has been charged, and where they have been able to pursue the charges that were put against him, he's actually been pretty bad. What was his name? He now owes Eugene Carroll over $90 million for defamation and for sexual assault. He lost the second case about 2 weeks ago.
Eugene Carroll, she's got nothing to do with Epstein, correct, Necro?
Yeah, right. But it's still you're asking me, what is it that Trump, do I have evidence of any sort of offenses Trump has committed where it's been proven in court? And he's actually literally the first president who's convicted of felony. Granted, it was the way I felt the same way about, I wasn't around when Bill Clinton had the Monica Lewinsky scandal, but I felt the same way about that in Stormy Daniels. Really, it's like.
So, Necro, can I just say this? I appreciate your concern with the behavior and the ethics of the candidates that you support. I can tell you that John Kitover has never been on the Epstein logs. He's never been accused of these salacious allegations that any of these people have. So, considering this is so important to you and he's got such an impeccable record when it comes to his character, are you going to be giving today? We're asking for a minimum contribution of $3.50. That's $3.50 as a minimum contribution. Are you prepared to do that right now, right this moment?
I'm definitely not prepared. So.
Can we prepare you to do this?
For one, like I said, would like closure about whether or not he would be in favor of demanding that Trump release the Epstein files.
Thomas Massey is putting forth legislation with regards to that, and he's bringing out victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, and he's doing communication with them. Necro, I could easily create a tweet and say, release the Epstein files now. We demand justice. Necro, give $1 to the campaign to elect John Kitover. I would be willing to do that, but Necro, I'm just a guy in Illinois with, very limited resources to get the DOJ to release this information, which are national secrets. Necro, you might be asking too much of the campaign to elect John Kitover at this current time.
Yeah, hold on. Can I just jump into? There's something in the chat, and this is where, this is how rumors get started. There's a rumor that John's got a boat called the Amistad. Let me just set the record straight. John has a boat called the Lady Hawk, and somebody jokingly renamed it the Amistad. That is not the name of John Kitover's boat. He would never name his boat that. He has a name for his boat. It's called the Lady Hawk, and you're welcome to come and jump on the boat if you want to come to the campaign party that kicks off at the end of this month.
John, I want to know, you said, it's been said that you were not on Epstein Island, but I want to know, do you have love in your life? And if you are elected to Congress, will there be a lovely lady, will there be a potential Mrs. Kitover to be standing by you holding the Bible as you are sworn in?
That would be awesome. I would love to meet a woman who loves politics, loves her country, loves the Bible, loves to.
You know who that describes. Right now, I don't think she's free, but particular Scarlet with 2 T's would be a perfect addition. Classy woman, very patriotic, loves Jesus, but right now I think she's taken.
Well, the way that Brad described her today, I'm not sure, I'm going to be that attracted to Scarlet with 2 T's. But I also believe that she's married and has a family, so I think she's out of the running. But I will keep my eye peeled for more beautiful flowers who want to fall in love with a congressional candidate.
All right, let's go to Moose. Moose, you have an opportunity here to change history, to reverse the trend of government spending and government borrowing. Are you prepared to help John Kitover help us?
I'm going to take the 5th.
Okay, you're going to drink a 5th. And once you've done that, we would like to ask for a donation. Humbly, we're asking for a minimum of tree fitting.
And I will match you dollar for dollar. So every dollar you give to the campaign today, up to $1,000, I will match you.
Can we do a quick little math question? If you raise $1,000 tonight and you were to match it by $1,000, how many dollars would that be, John?
That would be $2,000 in the campaign to elect John Kitover checking account.
And where would that money go? How would that be spent wisely to make sure that you can get and run for office and help us reduce this debt?
Well, the first step is getting the required number of signatures, which you've identified as about 600 today, which is not a lot of signatures. But however, because every signature has to be absolutely guaranteed to be a valid signature, you may need 2,000 signatures or 3,000 signatures or even 5,000 signatures to confirm that you have enough to get on the primary ballot in March. So that money...
So, John, one of the things that I'll do for you is get the voter information for you, and what we'll do is we'll sort through the super voters, the ones that vote in every election, and then that way the door knocking campaign, instead of knocking every door, we'll just knock the doors of people that show up for every election. So that at very least we know that they're a voter, we know that they live in the district, and we know that they're likely to show up. The super voters are who we're going to target.
It's fantastic. I speak to a lot of people who claim they have a list or they got the Excel sheet. I've never seen it yet in many years of talking to people who claim they have a list.
Easily accessible. I will get it for you.
Now, some of you may not like me, because I have vigorously debated in your rooms or I've recorded you without your consent. But all I can say is give $1 to this campaign, and I ask you for your forgiveness, and I atone for my sins of hitting the live stream button and recording you maybe with or without your permission. I am sorry. I hope that this, atonement and this ask to be forgiven is received genuinely because it's genuinely given. I just feel like, hitting a live stream button and putting it on Instagram, YouTube, X, or other platforms, as an American who thinks that we are in a crisis, a fiscal crisis, a cultural crisis, it was my duty as a patriotic American to record you and your rooms. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but that's the way I feel.
I got a few questions. Like, you make it to the debate stage. Are you gonna say acts? Are you gonna stress it like that on the debate stage, or are you gonna act like you got the sense?
I probably will say ask, even though because I say ask so much, every time I say ask, I am tempted to ask as opposed to ask.
Yeah, that probably won't lead no to it. I hope you say act.
I can also say this. I ran for junior class president when I was at the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, and I did not win that election. And the after action ready review was, if I had gone up on stage and acted professional, kind, and intelligent, I definitely would have won. Instead, I cracked a joke and I lost the election. So, the best communication is sincere, authentic, and intelligent communication. And I promise you that I will work my hardest, even though I like to be a comedian and crack jokes. I will work my hardest and be as professional as I can be over the next August, September, October, November, December, the next 8 months until the primary. And if we get on the primary, if we get on the ballot in March, that's a huge victory because it's extremely challenging getting to the actual voters in the booth where my name is on there and they can vote John Kitover. It's very difficult to do, and I can't stress enough how difficult it is, even with only 600 signatures, which is nothing, but it's still incredibly difficult because the Chicago and Illinois GOP will spend many tens of thousands of dollars trying to actively deny me access to the ballot.
The next fundraiser room you have, whatever between here and there, if you can control yourself and not say acts, I would donate $50 in the next room. If you can show some discipline and self-control, I would donate $50.
What if he can get through till the top of the hour without saying it?
No, that's not good enough. No.
All right. I tried.
Donations with conditions are known as bribes. Hey, I've been in a lot of bribery shit going on in this room, so be it. I heard him say you're going to delete videos, but donations, so be it.
How many videos did I get for $120?
I'll do a search and I'll see what there's a lot of Jay Breska videos on YouTube that I have put up.
No, do not delete them. Send them to me.
So I'm just wondering, in my 5 years of recording Clown House, how many of you actually gone and watched my YouTube and had a laugh or have kept tabs or integrated? Because a lot of this is a neural network, and I feel like by doing all this uploading into YouTube and replatforming it, you are like networked in a way with me. And that's one of the reasons why I've decided to do this.
Yeah, man, I've commented along with your shows, like from Instagram to YouTube, dude. I've been here for years. I showed you your rooms up. I read with you.
Let me ask you this. What's your name? John? How did you find this?
Clubhouse? I found Clubhouse because I went to a domain name convention. I used to own thousands of domain names, and one of the ones that I owned was marijuanabusiness.com. So I met a guy at a party. He says, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I own a bunch of websites. I'm a webmaster. I own marijuanabusiness.com." And he said, "Well, I own marijuanadelivery.com." I said, "Oh my God, my domain would be perfect for your business." So he invited me to this app, and his name is Todd Ryan. He still uses the app occasionally, and he does X Spaces where he talks about venture capital, domain name, web development, startup, and startup information. So that's why I'm here on Clubhouse.
Interesting. So how long into the program opening were you early in here, or did you find it recently? Or I don't even know when this thing was about.
I think I came on in March of 2020 or November of 2020, somewhere around there.
Okay, so what about the marijuana industry kept you coming? Like, what was the tide?
No, it's not the marijuana industry. It's just the app, had so many different topics. Like I've been going to venture capital rooms a lot. I go to a lot of comedy rooms, like Freddie Roosevelt and Roosevelt or whatever it is. I've just been listening to and recording Farmhouse for many, many years now on Instagram and YouTube. Over 20,000 plus videos on YouTube and over 20,000 plus videos on Instagram and 50, 60,000 plus. I'm approaching that stage across YouTube, across about 30 different YouTube channels.
Wow. Well, I have a question for you. No offense to anyone that's not an offensive thing, but I'm asking you, because you're one of the few that is not, quote, black. Why do you think there's so many, quote, black people on this program as opposed to other races?
I don't know the actual breakdown, but I think African Americans are very social and they love comedy, they love creating content, they love entertainment just in the same way that Motown or, American history. I think they're just extremely social and creative people, and this app is a great place to be social, political, and creative.
Okay, but have you noticed that there are little, I don't want to make enemies, but have you noticed a little bit of bias towards their own, or towards people that are not in their racial demographic?
Yeah, racial identity politics is real. It's a form of politics, and they're more than entitled to do performative racial identity politics. But I think if you're intelligent and you recognize that it's politics, you won't take it personally.
Right, and I know, but I'm glad that somebody like you, I didn't know when to ask. Everyone's predominantly black here, which is not a problem, but we're just trying to figure out these answers, because I've never known a program that was predominantly black. And I've been doing live chat and video since 1995 when it was clear. I've been in the chat scene, and I've never seen a program that is mostly black. And I don't have a problem with it, I'm just asking. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Next question.
Mojo, well, you didn't answer my first question when it came in. Did you name yourself after the Shakey's set up table wedges? Susan table wedges? Or Africa?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you know the name for the Shakey's pizza?
No, I'm not fat.
One doesn't mean the other. The Shakey's pizza, they have the most delicious potatoes they ever tried. We never tried it.
Nope, I'm not fat.
You don't have to be fat to eat a mochi.
Noel, look at the stage.
concerned, sir, that you think that the majority of the people on the app are black, and then when you were asked for the statistics, you don't have them. So I'm going to ask John, since it is his show. John, I'm not aware that the last person who commented on the rareness of non-blacks on the app is correct. John, do you have any statistics since you've been on the app for 5 years about what percentage are black? Because I don't think it's anywhere near what the last guy was talking about.
Did I say a percentage?
You said white people are rare, or non-black people are rare on the app. That's exactly what you said. They're rare.
Percentage.
But I'm not asking you now, sir. I'm asking John. It's his show.
Shut up and let him answer.
You know what? Fuck you, dickhead.
I turned off the recording.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know. Obviously,
Some great campaign shit.
yeah.
Uncle Stevie, you just made some great campaign shit for him.
I've been making great
That didn't make sense for him.
I've been making great campaign stuff for John for 4 years. Come on.
Hey, John, I got a quick question. You might have said this, but I missed it. Is this for local Congress or state Congress, or is this for federal?
Federal. Yeah, it's Illinois District 16.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you're a politician, John?
I'm running as a candidate congressman, so if you want to call me a politician, you can.
Okay. In what state?
Illinois.
Chicago.
Illinois.
Alright. Yeah, I think Hakima's vote is the one that really matters. Because he's a Chicago resident.
No, Hakima doesn't live in his district, but his voice does matter. I would hope that Hakima would prayerfully consider donating his tree fitty to the campaign for John Kitover for Congress.
Yeah. Or if he was a real friend, he would just move to his district. You know, it's interesting though.
John, other chat venues to spread your word, whereas like how many?
Yeah, this is being live streamed on 13 different YouTube accounts. It's being live streamed on Clubhouse. It's being live streamed on X platforms across multiple accounts. We are fully distributing this campaign message and maximizing our communication effort.
So I mean, are you on like Town Talk and Camp Rock and things like that as well?
No, he's hitting up the social media sites and podcasts and things like Clubhouse that actually affect and reach people that are voters, specifically in his district. And yeah, I'm just gonna stop. It's oh, but hey, real quick, last thing was for Uncle Steve. It says based on the data from 2021, it's in research. It says the racial and ethnic breakdown of Clubhouse users was 59% white, 19% Hispanic or Latino, 17% Black, 4% Asian, and other or non was white. So you were way off.
That is so inaccurate. I don't know where you got that shit. Give me the link for that. Well, sir, you said you didn't have the information to back up your statement. So how do you know it's inaccurate? Because 99% of the people on here are black. 99% of the people in this room aren't even black.
99.
Sorry, sir.
Then again, you're just attracted like a fly on flypaper to the black rooms.
Okay. Hey, next, just a random question. Have you ever experienced like good head trauma or had a brain scan?
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Now it makes sense. And by the way, I forgot, Kitty, thank you for the information. I believe your statistics are correct. Thank you. At all, because I fucking could see it with my own eyes and
The
ears.
statistics she listed were from 2019.
Incorrect. There's
Hold on. Next. Hold on. Everyone, hold on. Next, can you tell me what the racial breakdown of this room is?
all right. Let me see. I can tell by the usernames. It's from here.
How about I'm not a cat? We'll start there. Human girl.
70.
Tell by the use. Wait. You can tell by the usernames.
fascinating.
Yeah. Mojo is a black guy.
Well, you're one for one.
One for one.
Yeah, for 100 though, because I got it 79%.
79 point what?
No, wait,
2-3 year.
79% are white. 79% are white.
How many of them are the line messages of the cat? You know, next.
Yeah, it's about right now.
Next, do you see black people?
I see you're in it.
That number, I think you just reported it from a long time ago, but I think it's more like 60% black now.
Mojo, are you a black person, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Is that you on your camera? No. Correct.
Yes.
When did you do that? What was the intention?
This was a fun outfit for a fun day. You would have had a lot of fun at this event. Since the event took place in Shakey's, right, Mojo?
So what was the intention?
It was a black group that gave me. It was a black party and all black.
Okay, but when you feel that people were racist if they were all white barbecue,
No. I believe that white people are allowed to barbecue too. I'm not a racist.
oh, you believe they're allowed to barbecue?
Yeah.
At least I'm open-minded you are.
Well, thank you. I tried.
Okay, let me ask you a question next. Hold on, next 1 second. Let me just ask you a
You
quick
just
question.
lost to give us money. You said axe.
Oh shit.
The city. You have a problem with that?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
They just told you in one sentence. If there was a community barbecue at a park in the city near you, that said white barbecue only.
Oh, that sounds flavorless. I would probably pass.
Okay, but would you have any problem about it?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, maybe if I showed up, I'd bring some seasoning.
Well, anyways, for you,
Roger, yes, right now. You have to White Claw hard seltzer.
there, so they would just say, hey, here's a black barbecue only, right? So you ain't gonna bring shit.
Why not?
What do you feel about it?
Does anybody know what this guy's talking about?
I'm making a point, and you're so goddamn naive, you can't even fucking see what I'm getting at.
Holy shit. All right. I stand corrected. Go ahead. Educate me.
Would you have a problem with that?
Would I have a problem with people of white
Because the sign said white barbecue only, all whites are welcome, no other.
Oh, man. No, I feel like they're entitled to the white barbecue. Just like I'm entitled to my black barbecue.
Okay, so you believe in segregation?
I think it's a bad idea. I think it's better to allow people to be free to associate with whoever they want.
Next, if we can maybe pass the mic around, I think your questions are a little irrelevant at this point. So as a leader and a mod in this room, I would just like to ask that maybe you pass the mic around. Does anybody else have any questions with regards to the campaign to elect John Kitover to the 16th District of Congress?
Yes, sir, I do. My question is about the governor of Illinois. I would say that the guy that, is helping run it into the ground seemingly for really progressive ideals. He's been recently in an interview, and I can post the link on Meet the Press, talking about, I don't exactly know whether or not I don't want to cancel out the idea of running for president in 2028. So his political values and ideologies very progressive, like aligned with me or my family. That would be a lot of back and supporters of you, John. So what is your thoughts on the governor? However, say that. That dude. And then if that aligns with what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Governor Pritzker in the state of Illinois. He borrows, he spends too much. His culture, his communication, I think, is extremely detrimental to the young people in Illinois, especially with regards to trans prepubescent surgeries. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of Governor Pritzker.
He's for abortions. I call it ignorant. But are you?
No, I do not support abortion, and I think spending $1 billion a month and killing 60,000 children in this country monthly is ridiculous. And instead of spending, $15,000 to $20,000 per abortion procedure, we should give that check. Like the opportunity for the woman to receive a $10,000 to $15,000 check to have the baby, as opposed to giving that money to an abortion provider. That's my opinion.
Let me ask you a question. As long as we do not have a sustainable birth rate in this country. We're not having enough babies. I ask you this: if elected, would you be open to and commit to impregnating constituent to do
No, Scott.
to repopulate the country? No. You would not do it. If a constituent wanted you to impregnate them, you would not be open to it.
I would, if they were looking for some type of, sperm donator, I would refer them to either you or NECRA. Would you like to be the official sperm donor campaign of any beautiful young woman who is interested in having a
I will
child?
do my bid for Kitover for Congress because I believe that you are the best for this country right now, John. If I had to do that, I would do it for you and for the campaign and for America.
Well, you already said you're on Tinder, right? So when you do that, if you found the right woman,
No, I don't use Tinder. I use Hinge and sometimes Bumble.
Oh, okay. Well, when you impregnate the woman, you
Stand by next. I got a question for Scott. Scott, are you there? I'm here. Do you think you could talk to Mr. Gary Bumgarner and see if we could get John Kitover to be interviewed by Gary Bumgarner? You think that's possible? He sounds like a guy that's interested in hearing about American politics. And maybe he just allowed John Kitover, maybe that could be the topic of a room, and you can line up electrifying speakers in the room like Monsef.
Mojo, I'm not calling you out. Perhaps for putting a black man on your fucking profile picture.
And I'm not for a second. I have a serious question for John. John, you got next. John, who are we running against, and what do you bring to the table that they're not?
Sure, I'm running against Darren LaHood. He's a former federal prosecutor. He's a special appointment to this congressional seat as well. He has essentially created $20 trillion in debt at the federal level on behalf of his constituents in the 16th district and on behalf of the United States of America. He's a can kicker. I want to crush the can, stop the borrowing, stop the spending, and I'm bringing a fiscal prudence and a fiscal conservatism to the 16th district of Illinois. I want to lower their property taxes. I want to lower their income taxes, their state income taxes, their federal income taxes. He doesn't talk about that. He just talks about how he can get Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, Comcast, AT&T, more funding. So rural broadband at $70 billion when you don't need to install fiber or high-speed internet lines in rural Illinois when people can just get Starlink. That's a much better and cost-effective way to get high-speed internet to your house as opposed to running wire to the middle of nowhere. So it's that's the approach that I can bring, and I think the voters recognize that a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse and borrowing and spending is happening on their behalf, and they're not voting for that.
John, you just said a few minutes ago that you would endorse paying a woman not to have an abortion $12,000 or $14,000. I'm assuming you were serious, right?
Yeah, as Scott said, we have a birth rate crisis in this country, and I think if a young woman would rather have a check instead of that money going to an abortion provider, I think she should be entitled to get that check. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I wasn't finished. Thank you. Here's my question. Prior COVID 5 years ago, it was documented by multiple sources, I'm sure you've seen some of them, that the cost for raising a child from birth until 18 was $250 grand. I would estimate, and this is only my personal estimation, that that's gone up from $250 to $350 or $400,000. Since you just spoke about being fiscally responsible, is it fiscally responsible that if a woman wants to have an abortion because of she's not ready for it or can't afford it, that the taxpayers of your district should pick up the tab to the tune of $350 to $400 grand? Thank you.
So,
Or should she keep her legs closed?
So, it's the same thing with Medicare and Medicaid. There's a lot of Medicare and Medicaid recipients who would much rather have that $15,000 that is allocated to them annually in the direct form of a check, but instead it goes to the medical provider. So same thing with abortion. I think the voters would recognize that they would rather see the option for the woman to have that $15,000 check as opposed to her abortion provider or hospital group that would get that $15,000. Now, in terms of raising the whole child at $300,000, Steve, nobody is talking about paying for this person's life, till 18. So I don't know where you're getting that. I'm saying we have a birth rate crisis in this country, and to give people options to have life as opposed to death, I'm all for life, not death.
Well, where I get those numbers is arguably going on Medicaid, having low-cost housing, going on food stamps, going on welfare, rather than going to college or going to a vocational trade school, getting educated and being a self-supporting tax-paying citizen. Arguably, you're committing someone to spending time to raising the child, which is going to be paid for by the state. That's where I got those numbers from.
But Uncle Steve, the average first child born today, right, over their lifetime, will pay in excess, it's estimated, of $500,000 in taxes. So if they pay in $500 grand, don't we make money on every kid that we have?
Yeah, but that would be after the first 18 years. And John was talking about his opponent who's kicking, I'm going to paraphrase, kicking the can down the road. What you just described is a classic example of kicking the can down the road.
Trump also said he would give a tax credit for anyone who had babies in 2025 or soon thereafter. So isn't that also doing the same thing?
I was just asking the candidate a legitimate question. That's all.
I don't know the statistics. I'd like to look it up. Maybe you know, Steve, but I'd like to know what the ratio is as far as the number of now over the age of 65, which I think now the retirement is going to move from 72 of baby boomers to my generation, or even younger. That's going to need to care for my mom, for example. But I don't know. That would be one thing I'd like to look into. If we can just go down that path, if it is money, then I'm saying I'm on the side of more senior citizens than there are to tax-paying people under the age of retirement. That's a problem.
Are you asking what Social Security pays? Because that I know.
No, honey. What I'm asking is.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I guess in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, if we look at how many people are getting to the age of retirement right now, meaning they will not be paying into taxes, and my age or younger, or actually, let's just say anything under that, if we look collectively from 18 to not retired, what's the scale there?
Yeah, but the Social Security is taxable income.
Right.
Not any more.
Hold on. The last thing is an interruption from the listeners. Mute your goddamn mic. Want me to mute it for you? Okay. Bye. Jesus Christ. Alright. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here's what we're gonna do. It's 6:40 Pacific time. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to challenge everyone. I'm going to challenge myself. I want to see if the challenge can be accepted. We've got 19 minutes. 19 minutes to go to the link that's up above.
on your heart how generous you should be. Should your deity tell you to put $1? Give $1. If your deity tells you to give $10, then give $10. If your deity says, hey, you've got a lot more to give, you should consider giving more. Then I want you to listen to the spirit that resides inside you. But I want you to say that prayer before you click that link. So say the prayer. I'll say it with me, everyone. Dear Heavenly Father, I want you to please guide me. Guide me to the wise decision on how much to fund John Kitover's campaign. I might not have much, but I trust in you, Lord, and I trust in John Kitover. Can you just put it on my heart how much? Just tell me a specific dollar amount. Is it going to be $1? Is it going to be $10, $100 or more? Whatever it might be, I want you to put it on my heart, and I want you to put it on my heart now. And I'm going to click that link. So now, can I get an amen? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay. There we go. Perfect. So now that we've got that out of the way, now that we've got God on our side, now that we've got John Kitover on our side, can we all go click on that link? And then let's just let the Spirit move us. And then after the Spirit moves us at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock Pacific time for me, 10 o'clock Eastern for some of you, we'll go ahead and we'll figure out how much money the Lord put on your heart collectively.
But now,
Can I ask the candidate a quick question?
Yeah, for the atheist, Mojo, what would you be doing?
Hold on. Listen, if the atheists want to borrow a god for this exercise, they can borrow mine. It's a deist. He's very non-interventionist. He's like a clockmaker. You can borrow mine. But Howard's got a conversation here that he wants to have. I want Howard to go. Howard, by the way, is one of the most thoughtful people on this app. I thought he was the highlight of the critical thinking forum. And so, Howard, what is your question for the future congressman?
Oh, Mojo, I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, future congressman, I know also in your party, there's another candidate in an adjacent district, that being Mark Rice. Could you talk about your support or the differences between your candidacy and Mark Rice? Is it similar, different? I'm just curious.
I think it's probably very similar in terms of like fiscal conservatism and stance on Israel and being America first. And I know him and I know his son, and I think they're, both patriotic and very political and social and kind and generous and loving people. Why are you asking about Mark Rice, Howard?
No, again, I'm not in your district. I am a former resident of the state, though, but I'm now in Arizona. But I just know Mark's been also on this platform, and it just sounds like there's some similar parallels. And I was just curious if there's any cross-functional support, or if it's someone, because you guys are challenged because you're basically fighting the big machine there. It's been in existence from the beginning of time, and I was just curious if there's an alignment or almost like a quasi-squad that you and him are forming.
No, I mean, it's pretty independent. Everybody runs their own ship. And I did send this antidote link above for the campaign to elect John Kitover to Mark and Max today. And guess what? They both gave me $50. So, they are, they're incredible people. I mean, they love their country and they're Jewish and they love Israel as well. And, Jews in America today are under attack. And you can go on this app and you can go on X and you can hear the absolute insane vulgarity, profanity, and homicidal ideation nonstop by very sick people on this app that are very violent. And they're not peace creators. They're not meditators. These are ruthless manipulators, disinformation, activists. They're very dangerous in my opinion. And, it's up to you to listen to it, record it, and notify the FBI. That's my opinion.
Thank you, and certainly I wish you best of luck.
Thanks, Howard.
John, do you think we can get Mark Rice to come in here and say a few words?
I can text him, but I don't know what his schedule is or what he's doing. I can text him.
Yeah, just ping him and just say that we've got a nice little buddy bond going on. Tell him you appreciate his support and that people here might want to hear from him, and that maybe we could set up a future money bond for him.
Yeah, 100%.
So I believe you're a Cubs fan. Do you think that you could reach across the quote unquote baseball aisle to my family and friends that are on the south side of Chicago for the Sox people? Just curious. No pressure.
Yeah, this is a fair weather city, politically speaking. People love their White Sox and they love tailgating. And I love the Irish and I love the Germans and I love the Serbians and I love the Croats. Chicago has everybody. I just went to the Serb festival the other day and I said it to my dad. He's like, "Why are you sending me this?" I said, "It's the Serb Fest." He says he had to look it up. He didn't even know where Serbia was. So, people's geography is not all there, and Chicago is such a diverse town of people. It's incredible. It's always been like this.
I love hearing you talk about that. That's awesome. About a very cool city that is getting ran into the ground, and I really hope that you can do cool stuff for it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I tell you, X is an amazing platform. There's a lot of political activists in Chicago that want to flip it red, and they're African Americans, and they're really doing incredible work, real investigative journalism into essentially the fraud, waste, abuse, the borrowing and spending, the never-ending schemes and scams to suck more taxpayer revenue into nonprofits, millions of dollars just disappearing into nonprofit, politically connected bank accounts, things like that.
So I want you to address in the chat. Elena Tapena says, "Loser," and I think that was cast in your general direction. I wonder if she's in your state, I believe.
Wait, hold on. She clearly was talking about Nex, who's in the audience.
I didn't know she was talking about.
It has to be Nex that she's referring to.
I don't know. All right. I'll let her clarify that in the chat. I don't know who she's.
John's just trying to get John to breathe, I think.
Harry, can we count on your support for John Kitover for Congress?
Of course, I'll definitely support John. I think John's a great guy.
Awesome. Well, we have 12 minutes, and we're going to do a roll call. We're going to take a look and see how much money that we've tallied up, and we're hoping that within the next 12 minutes, the spirit of generosity pours over your heart, and you click on the link and you give what you can. And if you don't have any money, if you could just share this on your social media, share it with all of your family and friends that love the country, are patriotic. They want to see us reduce the debt, which is now $37 trillion. John Kitover is your friend.
So I pinged Mark Rice to see if we can get him in. I messaged his son that, we want to fundraise for them as well, maybe in this opportunity, because he is also running in Congress, not sure the district number, but the guy he ran against before, his name is Raja Krishnamurti, and this is another super debt creator who has upgraded from Congress, who is now running for the Senate. He blankets the television advertisements and spends millions. He's got over $6 to $10 million in Fortune 500 and PAC donations, and he blankets the airwaves with his "I will stop Trump," "I will fight Trump," that type of messaging. So he plays the contrarian to Trump, and it works well in the media, and he'll probably win his Senate race. But he's another charlatan, just like a lot of these people, and he doesn't really care about your taxes, about your property taxes, your income taxes. He just wants to spend more billions for his donors. So those are the types of people that I'm standing up against. And if you don't know who I am, I have recorded Clown House for 5 years. I'm very transparent. I record everything I do. I go to the gym and I record myself working out. I come here and I listen to you and I record myself listening to you. So if I can get into office, I will be fully transparent, and I would like to keep a connection with you, the Clown House user who wants your voice to be heard. And, all the constituents in the 16th District of Illinois who don't even know about me yet, but because of you and we have enough money, we'll be able to buy ads on Google or Facebook, and hopefully we can get some messaging to them. They too will know that I've got their back. So sorry for rambling. Go ahead.
No, hey, John, I think Mark's Illinois 8th.
Okay, John,
let me ask you a question. What is your first thing? Like, Donald Trump said, day one, I'm going to do this and that. What is the first thing you're going to do on day one? It's the most important thing.
I would like to go to the Peoria Civic Hall in Peoria, Illinois, which is the second largest city in the 16th district outside of Rockford, or go to the Rockford Amphitheater and live stream Clubhouse to voters in the 16th district of Illinois that helped get me into office, so they know that there is this grassroots, domestic and international campaign to eliminate the borrowing, spending, fraud, waste, and abuse. So it would be communication. That is, my primary function and role as a congressperson is to provide education, communication, transparency, and insight into the fiscal crisis that Darren LaHood has plunged them into in terms of a future spiral, debt spiral.
Moving the issue of things that need fixing. What is the tools and stuff you're going to use to fix things that need to be fixed?
Freedom and transparency. That's the optimization. If we want to improve the economy, we need more freedom, less taxation, and less government spending. Again, all I can tell you is I'm no magician, even though I like to pretend I'm one. I just believe in communication and education and transparency. If I can achieve that for the people of 16 and be a leader and set an example for a lot of the frauds and charlatans in Congress and in the Senate, I will be doing my role and duty that I promised to do as a candidate.
The current governor already has the funds. It's not as transparent, but the money's there. It's just going to, you can explain it better, John, right?
Well, hold on. Before he does, I want to make an appeal to every single person in the GOO. People that typically don't come up, like the Randys and the Darrens and the Wallace, Aya, Sean, America, Mike, Curtis, LS, Abby's down there. Hopefully we can get some of the people from the GOO to raise their hand, to get up on this stage and share this moment, share the moment that we're going to have here with the Congressman, because in 7 minutes, we're going to look at how much money this generous group of people has generated. And we want to welcome you to the stage. I'm going to move you down because you've interrupted me, and I'm not bringing you back up. Congratulations, you don't know how Clubhouse works. Mike Moon, you should come up here. I'm sure you got questions for the future Congressman. Let's see here. We're gonna get some people up here. Okay.
Just send somebody to you, John.
Oh, Pockets has questions. Pockets, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I disappeared for a minute. Not to deal with work, but when it comes to I know you said you wanted to lower property taxes in general in that district. But I'm just wondering if you know what funds the schools, what funds the fire departments, what funds the
Oh, I know.
businesses.
It's the property taxes. It's 65 to 75% are going to teachers, to the facilities that the teachers babysit these kids in and provide them wokeism education and CRT and DEI education. You know what? These teachers might have to start competing for your dollars as opposed to getting a monopoly on your dollars and sucking them from you every year like a parasite. The American people are not hosts to be sucked at by vampires. It's your money. You should keep it.
Okay. I don't answer, that's my point. If you have a problem with the curriculum, I would definitely go to the Department of Education when it comes to that. I don't think taxes and the curriculum as far as schools have anything to do with property taxes and the schools. If you want to deal with the curriculum, deal with the Department of Education.
Yeah, I'll deal with the curriculum by dealing with the taxation. That's how I'll quickly eliminate the curriculum. I can assure you that.
Because you'll be eliminating the schools, right?
No, he's going to be eliminating the corrupt education boards that take taxpaying dollars that's going into where you're talking about, and then actually funding programs that support things like CRT and DEI and crap like that teaches my nieces and nephews how to be less educated rather than, at least the bare bones of reading, writing, and arithmetic. I mean, that's really important to me. And I know my mom would love to hear that. Pass that around. Everybody in the city, that. John, I think you're doing great things.
Hey, John, what is the state income tax in Illinois?
You know, it just depends on your income bracket, but I mean, generally 30 to 40%, like most other places in the country. Oh, you're talking about state income taxes?
Yeah, because I mean, I live in Florida. We don't have a state income tax here, so I'm just wondering what it's like over there,
Yeah,
and possibly how much you can cut it. I mean, I don't know.
You're combined. You're generally with state income. Let's say you're looking at 10%, and federal you're looking at 30%. And it's generally higher than that. So it's in the 40 to 50. It's very high here. State of Illinois state income taxes are way too high, and the state taxing authority is a bitch to deal with. They shouldn't even exist. It should be like Florida. So, I know people that get audited. I've had problems with tax contributions, and it's a never-ending compliance nightmare. It's a big burden for your average worker to have to comply with all this regulation. The whole thing deals with compliance. There wouldn't be a compliance issue if these organizations didn't exist. These are jobs programs for a lot of people, and it takes a huge amount of money just to collect the taxes. So, $37 trillion in federal debt and $200 billion in state debt. Unless we start working smarter, not harder, and that means cost efficiencies, reductions, and setting new priorities. I mean, you're just going to kick the can down the road forever and just create a debt bubble spiral that's unsustainable. The time to say no is now.
I had somebody in pockets said in the chat that they need to raise property taxes. Illinois already has one of the highest.
I didn't say raise. I said we need property taxes. I didn't say raise.
Yeah, let's suck out of the American working class so that they've got.
Hey, hold on. We've got less than 2 minutes till the top of the hour. I want to just give people that final nudge. If you haven't done it yet, look, this isn't a contest of who's got deeper pockets. This is a contest that can you do what the Lord has moved you to do? Can you just listen? Just listen. Quiet your mind and listen to what the Lord is telling you to do. Click on that link and donate to John Kitover.
So, John, I should have asked you this question because this was really the deal breaker. Which is, do you share the same hatred I have of Nazis?
Yes, I do not like Nazis. I hate Nazis. And if I was ever confronted by a Nazi and felt physically threatened, I would punch that Nazi as hard as I could in the face to defend myself.
Good. I love that answer.
Necro. I love that you love that answer, but we have less than 1 minute for you to add to this money bomb. Can you please go race with time? Let's go do it right now.
Yeah, so this is the one question that would give him, if he answers yes to this question, I will donate $3. John, would you pressure Trump, demand him that he drop the charges against Edward Snowden?
Yeah, I would encourage him to drop the charges against Edward Snowden and let it go. That would be my opinion.
Okay, well, you just earned yourself $3.
I mean, you could just write your congressman or woman that in the letter and ask them to do that.
Okay.
Can we get a total, John?
Sure. If you haven't given $1 or $10, $10.11, $10.9, make that donation now. We're now headed to our Gmail account to see what emails from Antidote we've gotten. 7:30, Kristen gave 5. 7:57, Jay Breska gave another 20. After that, 8 p.m., we got another 20 from Jania Davis. And then at 8:54, another 20 from Erez Aarons. 170, 270.
What is the grand total?
Grand total is $280. No, wait, $380 now.
Okay, well, I'm not going to bed until we get it to at least $500. I think we can do 1,000, but we have to, at minimum, in order to call tonight a success, it has to be a minimum of $500. So that's about $120. If somebody wants to just put us over that threshold now, we could do that, and then what we could do is we could turn this into a celebration room.
Okay, so I just donated 1%. I just donated 1% towards that 500 already.
Fantastic.
So, congratulations, you're $5.
Every dollar counts. Necro, thank you. Thank you for helping America.
Necro, when I go to sleep tonight and I say the Lord's Prayer, as I usually do before I go to bed every night, I'm going to ask the Lord for extra blessings for you, Necro.
Definitely. I mean, like, yeah, to me, it's like Edward Snowden. I would have given you $7 if you gave a straight yes to the first question I asked you. Because.
Can you ask it again?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, so the question that I first asked was whether you would demand that Trump release the Epstein files.
Wait, did you say Edward Snowden?
No, I said Epstein.
I was going to make a joke. Anyways, thank you, Necro, for the money. I will use that money to buy ads, on Google and on Meta, and to organize on-the-ground door knockers to get these ballots signed, which is a very daunting and challenging task. I mean, it's not easy to walk up to somebody's door. Say what you want about Marshall Rankin, but walking up to somebody's door and randomly knocking on somebody's door to want to talk to them about politics, either you're stupid or you got big balls. And I'm willing to admit that Marshall's got big balls. So, never insult somebody who's willing to randomly knock on your door to talk to you about politics. And I've had my door knocked on by our local senator even. And I was like, what are you knocking on my door for? She's like, oh, I'm your local senator. I was like, oh my gosh, like you're a real person now. I'll always remember you. So, I can't get to all these towns. There's about 600,000 people in 16th district. And if you go to johnforcongress.com, you can see the top towns, and it will require a lot of work getting these signatures. So for every dollar you give me, I will match it. So if we've already hit $500 today because we've raised over $250. So any dollar you give me, I will match out of my personal bank account, and I'll be fully transparent. I'll even show you the receipts, and we will do this communication marketing endeavor together. It'll be the most fun you have on Clown House, I promise.
I'll tell you, if you get Trump to drop the charges against Snowden, that will be more than what I bargained for.
Got it.
Way more.
Or just room and board, every other expense,
Hey,
including
Rick,
back home.
you want to give $1 to the campaign,
I'll
Rick?
cover room and board for a week, and all of the surrounding areas of on the south side of my mom and my aunts, my cousins, my brother, and his business, and his businesses. I'll knock on every one of those doors, John. But not for free. I can take care of being deserves that. I'll do that.
Kitty, what about bake sale? I hear you're incredible cookies.
Yeah, but in Chicago, I do really like bake sales. But I don't think that's gonna that's not really gonna work. I mean, maybe the South, but that's not gonna help him. He needs people like physical people there, on the ground. More money. He needs money. Or he needs somebody to not like I can give out cookies. I can get some cookies out. I'd send you a whole mess of cookies, but that's just because you're my favorite black person. I'm sad.
I love the patriotism that's in there. Everybody's willing to help. Very good stuff.
I'd say John could probably put some ads on eBay or something on Craigslist, or not eBay, sorry, Craigslist, and ask people to get ballots signed for them. Or I'm sure you can find people that will volunteer. Also, there's always people that are willing to volunteer if they actually really believe in your views and your cause.
Yeah, there's an organization called Young Americans for Liberty that we'll connect with to see. They have a trained group of young activists that believe in reducing the debt. And if they're available in his area, then you can basically, the donation money, he would make a donation to Dow, and then Dow would provide the door knockers. Those are really high quality door knockers. If we can't get Yao to get on the team, then I'll fly out to Chicago myself and train people. When I was working with the Libertarian Party, I trained door knockers that knocked at least 1 million doors in 2021.
do have.
Whatever you're not. Yeah.
I can sleep.
You know.
I can provide housing and an office to up to 4 people with this
Well, that's perfect. Not that. Well, I'll talk to you later. I'm like, I can probably figure it out. I'll be there. I got you, John.
You know, speaking of libertarians, I'm looking at an ex post by Being Libertarian. It says the U.S. just hit $37 trillion in debt. When the Tea Party began protesting the national debt, $9 trillion sounded unbelievable. And then they wrote, "We are boiled frogs."
I'll connect you with the local libertarians out there. There's a mixture. There's some that are like really lefty libertarians that won't help you very much, but then there's some on the right side. John, are you familiar with a networking organizer in the city of Chicago by the name of Tony P? There's Tony P events. Are you familiar with them?
Maybe. If I saw a business card, then probably.
Okay, I'm gonna connect you with him as well. Typically it's business oriented, but he's starting to get more political. So I'll at least arrange a meeting so you guys can hook up and figure out how his network might be able to benefit you.
Yeah, some libertarian leader here will pass this out 3x5 flyers at the local Polish Fest, and I liked them, but you know, his body odor at that precise moment was a little overwhelming.
These Polish, man.
What's that damn Lewis by chance?
I'd have to go through my business card binder to find this business card. I can't remember his name. Well, if I could offer anything to you in this room, it would be to take the deepest breath of the day, hold it for 10 seconds, let it go, and say, fork it over, fork it over. Click that link above and give 10 out of 11, 10 not $9 right now to the campaign to elect John Kitover. Your money has already been spent. Put up 3 ads on Craigslist trying to find on-the-ground support and political consultants on a contract basis. Again, click that link above and give 10 out of 11, 10 not $9 right now, so you can also enjoy this fun experience and try to get on the ballot in March of 2026. This is your campaign. Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Harry, how would you describe what you typically hear in an Amir room? You know, the homicidal ideation, the I'm so glad October 7th happened, that was the greatest thing, praise October 7th, shit like that. When you hear people praising death, murder, chaos, like, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, it makes me feel very worried because some of these people are already here in America. And, you know, a prime example of those type of people is like that guy in Boulder, Colorado not too long ago. These are either sleeper terrorists that are here in the country or they're very, you know, organized together. And I think this is just a platform for them to organize openly in the public and recruit openly as well. So I think it's a very dangerous thing that, like, I guess they're being glanced over. And that was going to be one of my questions for you is, you know, what would you do if you did get to Congress? How would you combat this radical Islam we're seeing in America right now?
Well, there are 2 people I would call. One is your local IRS criminal investigator. And I would make sure that wherever that person is on the social audio, where they live, that IRS criminal investigator or that local FBI agent trained in Quantico would go knock on that person's door and say, hey, we want to talk with you, and we want to play you a recording. And, you know, conduct an investigation into this person's mental health status, whether or not, you know, he has a cache of weapons, what other communications they might be doing. You know, there's a lot of surveillance, covert, you know, the Stingray system. There's so many ways to find out what else, you know, they're communicating to see if they're involved in planning potential terrorist attacks, or if they're just terrorist promoters. But I don't know what direct legislation can be used to limit people's freedom of speech, but when it comes down to planning attacks, extremely vulgar and crude hate speech, just the social justice alone, or creating a Jew hate database website, or some type of government website to identify these people and call them out and get some social justice and social shame, ushered upon them, so their friends and family know that they are spewing and promoting hate speech. It's that type of activity which could have positive benefits.
I like that, John. I think that's a great idea, and I think more people should be involved in that and be alert, because I think Americans are very, very much in a bubble and feel very protected by living here in this great country. So I think it's important that we all keep our eyes open, and that room is a prime example of that, and it's every single day, all day long, and they literally promote terrorism in that room, and that's a federal offense at that one point. There's freedom of speech. There's a line between freedom of speech and breaking the law. So, and they're on a very fine thin line there with some of the stuff that's being said. So, but yeah, I'm glad that you are aware of it and made other people aware, John, because I don't think a lot of people, like in these rooms and JB's rooms and Mojo's rooms, were aware of these people that are on this app. A lot of people are just really designated to this side of the app and don't really see the terrorist side of the app, I guess you could say.
So looking at Thomas Massey's X account, he posted a video of his U.S. national debt clock, and he wrote, "Thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the debt just officially passed the 37 trillion mark." Somebody wrote in the comments, "I thought it happened last week on the debt clock website. It's actually close to 38 trillion now." Massey wrote, "That website is inaccurate. My debt badge syncs to a website called fiscaldata.treasury.gov/datasets." So he's pulling from a Treasury API.
Would you be for having Doge in your state, like having them, overlook county funding and state funding on local levels? I know here in Florida that they're starting to do that. Looking into county funding in certain counties here in Florida. So I was wondering if that's something that you would be opposed to or for.
100%. I think there's absolutely no transparency into the acquisition and purchasing process of our state. I've worked at the federal level where I've used acquisition platforms to do contracting and make multi-million-dollar purchases on behalf of the federal government. And I can tell you that information is not transparent at all for the taxpayers. If you're voting for Darren LaHood in the 16th district and you have no transparency whatsoever, into how your vote is playing out into acquisition and spending and contracting. There's absolutely, your vote is not tied to any type of transparency out there. So I think forensic accounting and transparency and posting a public ledger in terms of what your government is actually spending and allocating your tax dollars to should be a part of, a blockchain, you might call it, and have real transparency on where your tax dollars are going, and even how your vote correlates to that.
John, I just have a question. Who do you think would be the ideal candidate for 2028 at this point? Because in my opinion, the best one is Steve Bannon.
Is it his skin condition that you like so much? What is it about Steve Bannon that gets you so excited?
Just in general, it's one of the reasons why, to me, he's the kind of guy you can enjoy seeing on TV. that's kind of, to me, is like, to have like something that I think Steve, granted he actually argued with when he created MAGA itself. I don't think he would have win, but I think he would be like the best option. He would be, to me, the most entertaining to watch.
Based on a survey on this app or that I saw on X, I think the number one vote was JD Vance.
Yeah, I saw it, but it's interesting though. This game is higher than Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis is officially done with when it comes to the national level. He's kind of like tech numbers 2.0, essentially.
Well, I think the Steve Bannon news articles about him wanting to run for president is all fake news. It's just clickbait, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. I said in the chat, the Republican, I can see having some possibility of being the nominee, although I don't think she will be. But when I would see myself potentially voting for it, and if she was on the ballot, I think it would be almost certain I would vote for her, but Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, people really like Tulsi. I think Kennedy will also make a run for the presidency.
Yeah, I mean, Kennedy, if he ran for president, I would have preferred that over the health department. Because it's like on every other issue, I agree with him. Like on, corruption in like on war and on housing, I agree with him on a lot of his issues.
Well, the Medicare Medicaid expenditure is out of control, and I would just encourage everybody in this room, to take a deep breath, hold it for 10 seconds, and if you can stand up and lift your hands to the heavens and take a big stretch, lean to the right, lean to the left, lean back, lean forward, maybe touch your toes, stretch those hamstrings, because flexibility is very important. And you know what happens after a 25-year war, where you invade multiple countries? Guess what? You got debt. And you know how populations deal with their economy after wars and pandemics? You got to stay healthy. You got to stay strong. You got to exercise. You got to stretch and breathe. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to pay down this debt. That's why I need you as healthy as possible, so you can continue working for as long as possible. You keep paying into the taxation system to pay down the debt, even though we're not paying down the debt. We're just borrowing more on your behalf. But that's okay. I need you healthy and strong, flexible, and ready to get back to work.
Reminds me of my impersonation of GPS. It's like we need to incentivize more people to get involved in childcare. It's like, how do you most of that? Well, grandma can pick up the slack. It's like, how do you know people don't have the okay, good.
Okay, is there anybody else that wants to ask any other questions? Master Pocket, Serendipity, Hakima, Harry, Daniel, Necro, Kitty, Nye, Mojo.
I'm curious. I don't know if you want to go down this path, but curious what you did in the military.
Yeah, I went to the Citadel Military College of South Carolina. I have an undergraduate degree in business administration. I was magna cum laude, I think 3.7, or is that just magna laude? I got a lot of scholarships while I was in school, and I ran for junior class president. While I was in school, I witnessed 2 planes bring down 3 skyscrapers in Manhattan on 9/11 while I was in the boathouse on the university about to check out a boat for the weekend. And I joined the Army National Guard in March of 2022. My college roommate came back to our dorm room and said, "Hey, I just signed a contract with the Army Department." I said, "Oh, what did they give you?" And so I said, "That seems like a pretty good deal. I can't have a job here, and I got to pay for tuition, so maybe I'll join the Army National Guard." I didn't do active duty, so they had something called the SMP program, Simultaneous Membership Program. That summer, I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and did infantry training for 4 months, advanced infantry training, with a whole lot of soldiers from all around the United States, from every major city. Some people were there because they were troublemakers. Some people were there because they were gung-ho patriotic Americans that wanted to defend this country from Islamic terrorists. And some people didn't even belong there, but they were there. And a lot of those people that I was with and the training cadre that trained all of these thousands of people were Gulf War veterans and Somali Mogadishu veterans. And those people went to Iraq and invaded Iraq and fought to the death to take over, Afghanistan and then Iraq. So I was infantry. I had the blue cord on my Class A's, and after that I went back to college. And I studied abroad in Australia for half a year. Then I went back to Charleston, South Carolina, finished up my undergrad, got commissioned as an Army intelligence officer, and I finished up at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, working on linguistics and interrogations.
Are you polyglot or do you know more than dealing?
Nam and a butter shway Arabi.
By the way, John, were you also in Chicago?
I am. I was born in Chicago, and my dad was a cop here for 30 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was, I was almost born in Scotland.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tomorrow morning. Whatever I can help you, just let me know if there's anything, but she's really active in the church and stuff, and other ladies, that's your bake sale people, Joe, but I'm rooting for you and for the city of Chicago.
Thanks. I know you're big into social media, so please follow me on X. I need as many followers as possible. Anybody in this room that has X, follow me right now. It's John Kitover, IL for Illinois. That's JOHN KITOVERIL. Follow me there and retweet some of the content I post. Retweet the donation link, and hopefully your friends and family, if you endorse me, will give $1 to $10 to $200 to $500. Then we can really have some fun. Because if we can spend money on advertising, and I'm willing to shoot the videos in a suit and a tie with my American Legion cap on in front of the American flag, and read really interesting, intelligent, and maybe controversial statements that we can advertise to the voters in the 16th district and see how they respond to controversial statements. Like maybe the government shouldn't have spent $3 trillion on the COVID-19 vaccine response, or they shouldn't be borrowing $2 trillion a year and fucking spending $7 trillion a year. So, saying things like that, or hey, want to lower your property taxes? Hey, want to stop paying so much state income tax and federal income tax? There's a lot of messaging and a lot of work that can be done, but without your dollars, creating all that content will never get seen unless we can go to Meta or Google and buy ads in the district. And I've been buying ads my whole life and doing media buying, so there will be no cost associated with buying these ads other than the actual clicks themselves.
Another question I have, John, what are your thoughts about J.D.? You're in the military, what are your thoughts about J.D. Vance's characterization of Tim Walz as a disgrace? Because I understand as much as, you brought up that you disagree with him, would you think that it's fair for him to be called a disgrace?
Maybe. I mean, J.D. Vance is a Marine, and Marines are pretty badass. So I would be less concerned about J.D. Vance, maybe more concerned about Pete Buttigieg, aka Booty Judge, who is a special appointment CIA officer who went to a 2-week indoctrination course, never went to ROTC, never did basic, never did any kind of advanced training. But there could be a DEI LGBTQ initiative for certain people if you perform a certain way, you are involved sexually a certain way. You might get special appointment preference if you are LGBTQ. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. I mean,
if it's J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, or Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, I mean, who are the Democrat candidates? Is it California? What's his face with his hair? And somebody else? I mean, so, anyways, Necro, like, I'm getting exhausted with the Q's and A's, and I've been on Clubhouse all day long, so my memory and my mind is not as sharp as it was in the morning at this point. But, I think just knowing that everything in America will work out and not to get fooled by the word game. I like to bring up the debt a lot, but I do thoroughly believe that we shouldn't fear money. We should fear that we should be more concerned with the material world and less about the politics and the word games. But in terms of the debt and inflation and empires doing what is right, I don't think spending $2 trillion more than the $5 trillion we take in revenue here is a good way to continue to proceed. And if you look at the Doge analysis and all the screenshots from the SAP system there, Larry Ellison owns, Oracle. Oracle is big in the government with all this contracting and all this acquisition. And Doge has screenshots. It's all DEI woke spending with Guatemalan climate change education. Like, Necro, why would you want to graduate from college, get a job for say $70,000 a year, pay about $40,000 in taxes a year, and know that your money is going towards this wokeism education scam spending, which is getting close to being uncovered as $1 trillion a year, and they're still canceling billions of dollars worth of contracts that are across all these federal agencies. So the scam is being identified, and hopefully they'll be able to recover any money that has already been sent out. But Necro, do you think it's fair that as a voter, you don't have any say into how this money is being spent? Doesn't it make you angry?
I mean, I know that there's been concern a lot in the past of what is being taught in schools, things like that. I'm not really an expert. I do know one of the things that does concern me is that in places like Florida, where you had, like, for example, you had, like, the banning of books, like old classics, like, like, it was a book by Ernest Hemingway. There was also Aldous Huxley's Brave New World that was banned. And these are classic literature books, and so why would the government have any, interest to want to ban these books? It is kind of, to me, the concern I have about banning education. But I think there are legitimate concerns about, when, sexuality should be taught to children, I think. But in general, I just think a lot of the talk about education, I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of, like, fear-mongering to be able to ban certain books that make certain people who are really white supremacists.
Well, do you know one of the only books ever banned by the federal government? Do you know the name of it, Necro?
I can't say that.
No, I'm sure there's a couple, but one of them is Irwin Schiff's The Federal Mafia, where he claims that the federal taxing authority is experiencing cognitive bias, or what does he call it? Hindsight bias, meaning it's not constitutional to tax us in the way that they're doing it. So he died chained to a concrete slab in a prison because he's a tax protester, and he fought the judiciary in tax court. So, be careful who you pick fights with, because if they're more powerful than you, and lawyers and judges can chain you in a prison because you are complaining about the taxation, I mean, that's, pretty immoral and rather fascistic to kill you because you're not in compliance. So I'm just saying, Necro, taxation is extremely important. You haven't worked 20 years yet and paid your dues per se in terms of income tax. Wait till you do it. You're going to regret every single filing, and you're going to say, this sucks. It's a lot of money that you lose every month in your payroll tax and at the end of the year. So it's a big problem, and you don't even realize it yet because it's not transparent. You don't feel the borrowing and spending yet because we are the global reserve currency. So it's coming. The day of reckoning is coming, and if we bite the poison pill now and realize if we do change now, it's better than change. Maybe it's better than change in the future. I don't really know. It's hard to know what the optimal economic process should be, but I just say if you can't do it personally and just continue to borrow every single year unmatched with regards to your revenue, I mean it's just not ethical or moral. It's currency manipulation.
Yeah.
So anyway, macro, I would say like the fear that I'm hearing from you is more about like, is it right to ban something like To Kill a Mockingbird that I think parents can even, I mean, there's plenty of time to do reading with your kid, but what would concern me isn't so much of the classics that they're pulling, that you're saying, the quote unquote classics they're pulling out of schools. I would be more concerned about, like the gender queer and things like that they're indoctrinating in the schools. That is really basically, I can't see it's gravity when it comes to helping kids learn about our history, science, math, reading. But to further his question, since he asked the silliness, I have to ask you, John, as my final question. So if elected, would you then want to, like Tim Walz, would you want to increase the amount of, say, J-pot dispensers in men's bathrooms, the male gym and lockers, or not?
No, of course not. And any public official who would mandate that or spend your tax dollars on doing something like that should be publicly shamed and put on the internet for ridicule.
I'm moving back to Illinois after you get elected. I love it. Great for you, John. You all.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I just the reason why I'm not focused on issues of those things. I'm sorry, and I used to, a few days ago, you were starting to like my Stephen Hawking modes of voice. But, anyways, so basically, I just see cultural wars as completely regarded as to American, as to majority of Americans, and that's essentially the way I see all these things. Not saying that they don't matter, it's just to me on like my priorities list with individuals I'm much more concerned about. John's selling point. I mean, even though my priorities of debt isn't as high as concern, that I think it's a more significant concern because long term the debt is an issue. But yeah, that's more of a concern to me than these sorts of things that they're teaching in education. And you might say, Katie, that for example, that To Kill a Mockingbird, if they banned it or something like that, that it doesn't have any effect on it. Well, the fact is, like George Orwell said, that whoever controls history controls the future. And so, if you have racist people who want children to not know about the history of racism, I mean, in Texas public schools, they removed, they can't mention Nathan Bedford Forrest. So, I mean, I'm really concerned about like children knowing our history. I think it's important for us to be able to address the issues on the past that affected us today. So,
Would you say that the now is a compression of the past and the future, Necro, or is now just a culmination of the past?
yeah, there's no such thing as history in the future. The future isn't called history. The past is what is always history.
I understand. Did you have a question for the campaign? You like John Kitover to Congress for the 16th District of Illinois?
I'm just wondering, I go to the macro about the history. Right. You want to ask Negro about the history? Macro. I'm not here.
Okay, so this has been a money bomb for the campaign to elect John Kitover. I thank everybody who has donated. We're going to do a quick summary total here of how much we have raised today. And it's August 12th, 2025, Tuesday. Just a Tuesday.
And this is just day one of it having the campaign website, correct?
Correct. This is just day one, and we're only a few hours into having the website. And actually, you pushed me to do it, Mojo, because when I saw that you scheduled this room and I hadn't actually, worked on the Antidote website, I immediately got into action. I said, I'm not going to waste this moment and have nothing set up. So I immediately sprang into action. So thank you for creating the environment for me to make this happen.
Can we get a total?
Sure. Last amount was $20 from Serendipity at 9:28, 11 minutes ago. $5 from CJ Lyman, 20 from Erez Aarons, 20 from Jania Davis. So let's see the total here. 45, 65, 85, 90, 95, 195, 295, 395, 405 total since 6 o'clock.
4:05, and we started this a little while ago. I wonder if in the next 20 minutes, because I like to have like a front room and unwind and allow people to get back to what they were doing. I wonder if the people that have not given, if somebody could just reach into their pocket, get us that $95 that we need to get there. Maybe you don't have $95. Maybe you could put $9.50, and that would get us 10% of the way. Or maybe you could put $19. That would be 20% of the way. These are just math equations. I don't know how much you need. You could put $1. You could put $3.50. These are all amounts that are in your control. The first thing you have to do is you have to say a prayer. Then you have to click the link up above, and then you have to just go ahead and fill out the little form. We'll get that money over into John's little pockets, and then we'll get some people knocking doors, get him on the ballot. Next thing you know, John will be able to take these messages about lowering the debt for you and your family to all the way to Congress, all the way to Washington. So $95. I'd like to see us get $95 more and get that up to $500, because John has said that he would match it. So if we can get to $500, this will be $1,000 for day one. That's a nice little threshold to me, and it's a small price to pay for freedom. So if anybody that hasn't given yet, or if you have given it, and you realize that, like, wow, I probably should have given more.
We just did it. You made it, I think. It's $95.
What the fuck? Oh, John, can you do that? Add it up, because we'll celebrate, and maybe we'll even bring Mike up. I don't even know if we've ever heard his voice.
Wow, Mike Seltzer, congratulations, $95 right now. So we're at 500.
I'd like to call that a success. John, thanks for setting us free. Mike, thanks for helping to set us free. $1 at a time, $95 in your case. Awesome. And there's no reason why you can't give more if somebody, like, let's say you don't get paid until Friday. That's fine. Friday, that website will still be working. Go ahead and save that to your history, and then you click on that on Friday once you get paid. That money gets in your account. You go ahead and click his account. Go ahead and wire the money over. We're going to build this dollar by dollar, brick for brick, and what's going to happen when he gets elected is he's going to take dollars out of the budget, return them to the pockets of the people that donated to him. So please consider prayerfully donating to John Kitover. But we're going to go ahead and switch gears here. John, do you have any parting words before we close this room up? We'll open a new room. We'll just have a bunch of fun. We'll talk. We'll laugh. We'll love. This will be great.
Yeah, thank you, Mojo. Without you, none of this would be possible. And to everyone here who has given money, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will use it as efficiently and cost effectively as possible to get on this ballot in March and spread more communication about freedom, intelligence, health, wealth, love, and joy. And this is your campaign. So, come to these rooms and join all these other clown house rooms. Get activated. The time is now. And not many people are talking about this. I worked with Ron Paul his campaign when I lived in California back in maybe 2012 when he was running, and I have a great photo with him. And I contributed as much as I could as possible at the time to his campaign because I really believed in what he was saying, which is stop borrowing, stop spending, end the forever wars. It's not our job to be military police around the world and do nation building and spend hundreds of trillions or spend hundreds of billions of dollars doing that. So, I believe in peace and meditation now, and we have to be very strategic and intelligent going forward. Otherwise, we're gonna we're putting ourselves on a totally unsustainable death spiral. In the same way that the Weimar Republic experienced price increases every 2 to 3 days. So we have to be fiscally prudent, conservative in our spending, and that's the message I want to bring to the people of the District of 16. God bless you, Mojo. God bless everyone in this room. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope you all have a great evening.
That's amazing. And just remember, vote Kitover. Problem's over.
I'm afraid, hey, fill out the forms, John. All right, Chris.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end this room, but I'm gonna open a new one for those that want to get together and have some laughs. Have a good night.
Okay, good night, everybody. Click the link above or go to John for Congress. I do appreciate you all for being here. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you forgot to.
Okay, Cynthia.
Okay, so.
$500 and an hour and 32 minutes. Okay, go to John for Congress. Thanks, everybody.